All rise.
The Kosovo Specialist Chambers is now in session.
Please be seated. Madam Court Officer, please call the case.
Good afternoon, Your Honors. This is KSC BC 2020-06. The Special Prosecutor versus Hashim Thaçi, Kadri Veseli, Recep Selimi, and Jakub Krasniqi.
Thank you. Today we will start hearing the evidence of prosecution witness W04448. I note that Mr. Thaçi, Mr. Veseli, and Mr. Salimi are present in the courtroom, while Mr. Krasniqi is attending today's hearing via video link. I also note that W04448 will testify via video conference as granted by the panel in F01851. And that, as you know, today and tomorrow we will be sitting from 3 o'clock p.m. to 7:30 p.m. with a 30-minute break between 5 p.m. and 5:30 p.m. I thank the parties and participants, court officers, stenographers, and interpreters, and security officers for accommodating this altered sitting schedule. We are in public session. Madam Court Officer, please bring in the witness. Good morning, witness. Oh, no earphones. Good morning, witness. Can you hear me?
Good morning.
Yes, I hear you.
Your Honors, just for the record,
Yes.
if you can say that in a remote location present are witness W04448 and myself, court officer.
Thank you very much. Witness, the court usher will now provide you with the text of the solemn declaration which you are asked to take pursuant to our Rule 141, paragraph 2. You may look at the document and then read it aloud.
I solemnly declare that I will tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, and that I shall not withhold anything which has came to my knowledge.
Witness, today, thank you very much. Witness, today we will start your testimony, which is expected to last approximately 2 days. As you may know, the prosecution will ask you questions first. Once the prosecution is finished, the defense has the right to ask questions of you. The panel may also allow redirect examination if conditions for it are met, and members of the panel might also have questions for you. Witness, please try to answer the questions clearly with short sentences. If you don't understand a question, feel free to ask counsel to repeat the question or tell them that you don't understand and they will clarify. Also, please try to indicate the basis of your knowledge of facts and circumstances that you will be asked about. In the event you are asked about the SBO to attest to some corrections made regarding your statement, you are required to confirm on the record that the written statement, as corrected by the list of corrections, accurately reflects your declaration. Please also speak into the microphone and wait 5 seconds before answering a question and speak at a slow pace for the interpreters to catch up. During the next days, while you are giving evidence in court, you are not allowed to discuss with anyone the content of your testimony outside of the courtroom. If any person asks you questions outside the court about your testimony, please let us know. Also, please stop talking if I ask you to do so, and stop talking if you see me raise my hand. These indications merely mean that I need to give you an instruction. If you feel the need to take breaks, please make an indication and an accommodation will be made. So we will begin with the direct examination of you by the prosecution. Mr. Quick, you may begin your questions.
Thank you, Your Honor. Hello, Mr. Kabashi. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
So we have met before, but I will introduce myself again for the record. My name is Nate Quick, and I work with the SPO. I will be asking you questions for about 1.5 hours today. As I explained during your preparation session a few weeks ago, rather than asking you questions about every relevant issue you may have information about, it may be possible to admit some of your prior statements containing such information into evidence. In order to do so, there are a number of procedural steps to follow, which I will turn to after establishing your identity. Witness, what is your name? And what is your date of birth?
July 1st, 1976.
And your nationality, Mr. Witness?
Albanian.
Witness, do you speak Albanian?
I do.
And you've chosen to testify in English today. Why is that?
Because from previous statements, there was, I think, so many of misunderstanding when it comes to translating dialect and stuff. So I choose better to speak in English this way. If anything I won't understand, I'll ask. Otherwise, it would be better for the judge to understand.
Understood. Thank you, witness. Now, because we are both speaking English, both the answers and the questions are going to be in English, it's very important that we both pause after a question and after an answer in order to give the interpreters enough time to catch up with the interpretation. Does that make sense? Is that clear?
Yes.
Thank you, witness. Witness, do you remember testifying in the Limai et al. Trial before the ICTY on 11 and 14 March 2005?
Yes.
Court officer, if we could please pull up IT 0484 bis P00119. Mr. Kabashi, are you able to see a document on your screen?
Yes.
And on the first page at the top, do you see the date, 11 March 2005?
Yes.
And do you see your name at line 15?
Yes.
Court officer, if we can please move to page 66 of that document. It's the transcript page is 4240. Mr. Kabashi, do you see the date at the top of this page, 14 March 2005?
Yes.
And do you see your name at line 17?
Yes.
Mr. Kabashi, do you recall being given the opportunity to review this testimony when we met in October?
Yes, I believe so, yes.
And were you given the opportunity to make clarifications and corrections concerning this testimony?
Yes,
And do you recall these clarifications and corrections being included in a note which was read back to you?
yes,
Mr. Kabashi, do you recall being asked to confirm that the information in this note reflected your account fully and accurately?
one more time.
Sure. Do you recall being asked to confirm that the information in this note reflected your account, reflected your evidence fully and accurately?
Yes,
Mr. Kabashi, subject to the corrections set out in the note, does your testimony in the Limai case accurately reflect your evidence and what you would say if you were asked again the same questions in court?
one more time.
Of course.
This is,
Sure.
please.
Subject to the corrections set out in the notes, does your testimony in the Limai case accurately reflect your evidence and what you would say if you were asked the same questions again in court today?
I will answer as much as I can.
Thank you, witness. Let me just repeat the question one more time. So subject to the corrections you made during our preparation session, which were set out in the note that was read back to you, does your testimony in the Limai case accurately reflect your evidence?
Watch evidence.
Is it an accurate reflection of the evidence you gave in Limai?
Well, I gave evidence before the court and Limai's meeting to the investigators in 2004, and I tell the truth. I never said anything else except the truth. The thing is,
Sure. If I can
Me
interrupt,
being-
Mr. Witness, can you hear me? Okay. There seems to be a bit of interference.
I hear you. I hear you. Okay.
Yeah. So when you testified in Limai, did you tell the truth?
Yes, I did.
And if I were to ask you the same questions today that you were asked during your Limai testimony, would you provide the same answers?
If it's of my will, I won't. If it's without my will, then you can do whatever.
I'm not sure I understand that answer, but you have confirmed that what you testified in Limai was truthful. And my question is whether, if I asked you the same questions that you were asked in Limai, whether you would give the same evidence today, give the same truthful evidence today.
Well, you're asking me to confirm, but also I confirmed basically and told you everything about it and what you did about information from first trial, Limais, Haradinais, and after. What happened? So after all this, for me being here, it makes no sense. And I don't do
So let me clarify one more time,
Respect.
Mr. Kabashi.
it
One-
with the court
Sorry, if I
Judge,
could
but-
just interrupt you, sir.
Excuse me, Judge. I mean, there is the witnesses speaking, and it's not being picked up on the microphone, unfortunately.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So, witness, you confirm that what you testified in Limai was truthful. Is that right?
When I gave statements before Lima's trial, they're supposed to be confident because I gave what I think, what I seen, what I hear.
Sorry, Mr. Kabashi, to interrupt. That's not my question. My question is,
Hold up, witness, and let Mr. Quick ask the question again and listen to just the question.
Mr. Kabashi, you've just confirmed that your testimony in the Limai case was truthful. Is that correct? And my question is only whether that's correct.
I hear your question, and I gave answer. But I would like to tell the judge that where he's bringing me this. Like, the judge knows what I've been through for all these years after my first statement and my evidence that I gave. The judge knows that from there you guys hold the immigration here and told them that I cooperate with terrorism and revoke my papers.
Sorry, Mr. Witness.
The judge
Mr.
knows that?
Kabashi,
Yes.
we will move on eventually in the questioning to other topics, and I will ask you to give an explanation in relation to past proceedings. At the moment, I'm asking you solely in relation to your Limai testimony. If I asked you the same questions that you were asked in that case today, would you give the same truthful answers? And you have confirmed that those are truthful.
Excuse me, Your Honor, I think we have a problem with not allowing the witness to finish. If the witness is not responsive, then it's up to Your Honor.
That's not true. True, he's listening right now. He's finished, and the question's being asked, so we'll move on.
But for you, it's easy to say to move on. For me, it's not that easy.
Witness, this part of the examination solely relates to some procedural issues in order for
Every
us.
part examination and every question, everything relates for 20 years of my life, and you guys did nothing about it. So that's what I want to talk about. The judge, if he allows me, I will talk to the judge. Otherwise, I've been nice with you because you know also you saw me an interview when you asked me first to give. You know that I don't want to come here without my will. But in the same time, you guys try to find all kind of ways to bring me here and try to
Mr.
cover
Witness,
your failure.
Mr.
from
Witness.
The last. And that's why I cannot cooperate with you directly, the prosecutors, because you guys hurt so many people, including witnesses and my country altogether.
Okay, Mr. Witness, I would appreciate it if you answered directly the questions that are being asked of you. I will give you an opportunity to explain what happened in past proceedings at the appropriate time. Now, Mr. Witness, previously, about in October, when we met for the witness preparation session, you said that you remembered that you were given the opportunity to review your Limai testimony. You also have now confirmed today that you were given the opportunity to make corrections and clarifications to your Limai testimony, and that this was included in a note that was read back to you. Now, court officer, if we could please pull up prep note 1, which is 116141. And if we can go to the second page, at paragraph 10. Sorry, the third page. And Mr. Witness, the note reads, which you confirmed, it reads, when asked, W4448, which is your witness code, stated that he intended to confirm that his Limai testimony on 11 and 14 March 2005, with the above clarifications and corrections, was the truth. And do you confirm the same today?
You asking me?
Yes, Mr. Kabashi.
I said in the beginning, yes.
Okay.
I said everything that I said, and my testimonies, meaning what I said, sometimes was mistake and try to relate cases out cases. You guys do that, of course, is your job. But I said what I said, yes, was true. I never said anything different than true.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Kabashi. Your Honor, it is clear that the witness confirms the truthfulness and accuracy of his Limai testimony. The SPO would therefore seek admission of the Limai testimony under 154 at this time,
And the note?
and along with the preparation notes and the associated exhibits, which I can list.
Objections?
The record judge, did he attest to the note as well? I might have missed
Yes.
that. And if he did, I'm,
I'm adopting a neutral position in relation to this. It's a matter for Your Honour.
Anything?
Yes, the same, Your Honour.
All right, the statement, IT 0484 bis P00119 plus prep note 1, which is 116141, and the associated exhibits are admitted.
Sorry, Your Honor, if I could just clarify the ERNs to be admitted. We would also seek, for completeness, the confidential version of the witness's testimony on 14 March 2005, which is IT 0366 T4240 T4312 unredacted. And we would also seek admission of the audio-video recordings, including the witness's Albanian testimony in the Limai case. This is IT 0366 11 March 2005, Shefchat Kabashi, parts 1 to 2, which can be public, and IT 0366 2005 0314, unredacted, parts 1 to 2, which are confidential.
Okay, I'll go around again, since those weren't mentioned before. Any objection to those? And Mr. Emerson, I assume it's the same answer. No objection. All right, those documents are also admitted and will be assigned associated numbers.
Your Honors, if I can. So the first, the Limai transcript with IT 0484 bis P00119 will be assigned exhibit number P730. The preparation note under 116141 to 116143 will be assigned P731. The unredacted transcript under IT 03-66 T4240 to T4316 unredacted will be exhibit P732. And the two videos as mentioned, ITO 366 11 March parts 1 and 2 will be exhibit P733.1 for part 1 and P733.2 for part 2. And then the following ERN, if council can repeat it for the other video.
The other video was IT 0366 2005, 0314, unredacted, parts 1 to 2.
And those will be assigned Exhibit P 734.1 and 734.2. Thank you. And perhaps, Your Honors, I know they're all classified as confidential. Can we clarify the classification?
So IT 0484 bis, P00119 can be public. The IT 0366, any of those that have unredacted in the ERN should be confidential. And then IT 0366, 11 March 2005, Shefka Kibashi, parts 1 to 2 can be public. And preparation note 1, which is 116141, can also be public. And the associated exhibits can both be public.
Unless there's an objection, those classifications will be. Unless there's an objection, those classifications will be changed to public as listed. You may go ahead, Mr. Quirk.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Kibashi, I had cut you off before when you were trying to provide an explanation. I would now like to discuss a little bit what happened in previous proceedings, including beginning in Limai and continuing to the present day. Okay? Now, it's really, really important that we don't speak over each other. When I try to interrupt you or when I ask you a question, it's important that you stop, that you respond directly to my questions. Otherwise, the record won't be clear. Nobody will hear what you're saying or what I'm saying. Is that understood? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So, Mr. Kibashi, in Limai, you testified with protective measures, with your identity shielded from the court. From the public. And you explained to the judges in that case that it was very difficult for you to testify and that you had been called a traitor. You also explained, you went on to testify that there had been threats to your family. Witness, despite the difficulties you described, why did you testify in Limai?
One more time, what do you mean? The question? What's the question?
So you had testified in Limai that it was difficult for you to testify because you had been called a traitor and because there had been threats made to your family. Why did you proceed to testify despite these threats and despite accusations that you were a traitor?
I can start from starting of the KLA when they start taking actions and the police, certain police forces, and
Mr. Witness, sorry to interrupt. My question is, why did you decide to testify in Limai?
that's what I was going to. That's where I was going to.
Okay, please answer my question.
Because from 1998, that I had orders from my previous commander to kill people, and I didn't. And those never stopped, even though I was in prison. I knew my life was in danger, but for me it was more important to stop, and I didn't want to give up. And rights and the truth, I never want to give up, because we didn't need to do those things. I mean, you kill each other for different beliefs, political reasons. We're Albanians, and we don't do this stuff, what they did in the war and after.
Thank you, witness. Now, when you appeared in the Haradinaj trial in 2007, did you answer questions by the prosecution?
Same as I said before, much as I recall, I answered some questions, but I didn't want to, because after the Limai's case and then Haradinaj case in 2007, I even left a letter in a hotel room trying to explain, you have evidence, because apparently nobody could stop those crimes, and they were continuing to happen.
Okay, thank you. When you testified in Haradinaj, did you have protective measures?
No.
And why not?
Because I tried to explain to the court the protective measures means nothing. It was not protective measures, because organized crimes, what they do, if they know somebody, it's a witness, they know what he knows, especially for someone who was a member in KLA. And if they know what he's a witness, so they know what he knows, what he talks. Basically, you're not having any protective measures in that case.
So did you consider the protective measures that you had in Limai, did you consider them to be effective?
I consider them useless.
And why did you consider them to be useless?
Just like I said before, if they know, let's say, that I'm a witness,
We're
you see
having-
me work, right away, it will tell outside work.
Witness, I don't mean to interrupt you, but we're having trouble hearing you because you're cutting out. Court officer there on the scene, can the microphones be adjusted in any way to be closer to the witness?
Where's my phone?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
witness, we don't want to miss anything that you have to say, but it's cutting out periodically. So try to speak at a steady pace. I'm sure that's why Mr. Keogh is standing at this point too.
I think that's what I'm doing.
I think that both parties, it comes up indiscernible when the witness had answered.
So go ahead, witness. I'm sorry I had to interrupt you, but we want to hear what you have to say.
I think I said it.
Okay. We'll get another question then for you.
Thank you, Mr. Kabashi. Now, when you appeared in the Haradinaj retrial in 2011, did you answer the prosecutor's questions?
I didn't want to answer, actually. I think you have that information, meaning you know if I answered or not, or why I didn't answer.
And why did you not answer? Or why did you give the answers that you did give?
because like I said, since the war, those crimes, they never stopped, and you guys completely like a prosecutor's side did nothing about it. Also, the Evlex, Kosovo Police Service, and everything else, they did not do anything to stop. And I believe there's like corrupt much as that can be. And I believe that this institution, it's the most corrupted institution ever exist. If I have a right to say, and if I have a right to say what I believe, the truth.
That's understood, Mr. Kabashi, and that is all that's expected from you here today, is to tell the truth. Now, you referred earlier to
Also,
one... Yep, go ahead, Mr. Kabashi.
yeah. And also, they try to, just because I didn't cooperate with them, meaning the way they wanted to, they tried to hurt me here too by sending a letter to immigration saying that he is cooperating with terrorism and trying to bomb the offices in Kosovo, the tribunal offices. So from 2007 to 2009, I had to go and again interview, and my papers got revoked. Since then, I'm going to the courts. Actually, I have another one coming, and it's all about you guys.
Now, Mr. Kabashi, before, when I asked you about the reasons that you testified in Limai, you referred to orders that you had received when you were a member of the KLA. Now, I want to
Yes.
ask you some questions about those orders, and I realize it's been a long time since the events. All you're expected to do is testify truthfully and to provide the information that you remember now. Okay? And Your Honor, I actually skipped over the Rule 154 summary. I would propose to read that later, if that's all right. Yeah. Now, witness, in your Limai testimony that has now been admitted, you provided evidence of an order you received to kill a person named Rock Berisha around late September or October 1998. You testified that soon after receiving the order, you went to speak to Rock Berisha and told him about the order. You testified that after speaking to Rock Berisha, you did not kill him and instead went home. Now, after you returned home, did you ever speak to Rock Berisha again about this order?
After the war, only 2004, 3 or 4.
Okay. And how many times did you speak to him after the war?
I don't remember many.
You spoke to him
Yeah,
many
that-
times? No, sorry. You spoke to him many times, Mr. Kabashi?
Yeah.
And why did you speak to him?
One of the reasons that I spoke to him was after the war, when they used my name in one of the newspapers called, I forgot exactly how it was called, I think Pokare or something in Albanian, new. And Fatan Mehmet, I was who was writing against Rock Berisha. Rock Berisha was used in the Botas today. And they used my name for bad. I couldn't take it anymore because after the war, actually, I decided to start working. I applied for a police officer and I wanted to just have a normal life and not deal with, but they didn't let me. Even when I went to get the certificate that I was a KLA member, they refused to give it to me. And then when they use my name for meaning that I'm on the opposite side of the war, and I'm basically bad guy. I decided to write in Thaçi, that for a week or more than a week, maybe almost every day, like telling everything about it, my family, and also my time in the war, and also in prison a little bit.
Thank you, Mr. Kabashi.
But that's why I met Rob Berisha. That was the reason. A lot of other journalists, they will not take the case and they will not write because they're fear for their life.
Thank you, Mr. Kabashi. And when you met with Rock Berisha at this time after the war, what did you discuss?
We also discussed many things. I don't know what particular what you want to know.
Did Rocky? You said you had written letters to Bodhisat. Did Rock Berisha ever make any public statements or write any articles relating to you or your experiences during the war?
What do you mean? It just like more time, please.
Yes. So you had testified about how you received an order to kill Rock Berisha. Did Rock Berisha ever make any public statements or write any articles about this after the war?
He did many times, I believe, in newspapers. But the last time he did was before he died, I can say. In his Facebook account, he said about it was not just me. They tried again after me to kill him. That's his. I mean, you can find that too.
And do you remember anything else he said in this Facebook account, in this Facebook post?
What do you mean? Like,
sorry, do you remember what he said in the Facebook post, in addition to what you just described?
Said it's true, but about me, he said it's true what Kabashi is saying in the interview I had, and
what did he say was true when he said that? What was he referring to?
to the case in '98 that I went to his house, and reason is for me that I went house. I knew Rob Berisha, and I knew also his family, and they're good Albanian family. I know he had kind of misunderstanding or with some of. Sorry. Connection again.
Can you hear me okay, Mr. Kabashi?
Yeah, I hear you.
So you also mentioned that Rock Berisha wrote articles, and I believe you said it was in Bodhisat. Court officer, if we can please pull up the document with ERN U009 3209, that's the start of the ERN, and if we can show the page with the ERN U009 3224. I only want this specific page to be shown on the screen, please. It can be public, but the rest of the document should not be shown to the witness or to the public. And for reference, the English translation of the relevant part, which can also be publicly broadcast, can be found on page U009 3225 to U009 3226. Now, Mr. Kabashi, can you see a document on your screen?
Yes. It's not readable though. Just the beginning.
Court officer, maybe we can zoom in on the document. So witness, in the upper right-hand corner, do you see the date, 12 December 2005?
Yes.
And the words next to the date, Bodhisat?
Yes.
And what was Bodhisat?
Newspaper.
And witness, you see the article on the right-hand side of the page? The title starts Ish Commandantet and translation ex-commanders.
Yes.
Have you seen this article before?
I might have, I don't recall.
Can you please look at the start of the second column of this article? There's a reference to a man named Pipi.
Yes.
Do you see that?
Of course.
And who is Pipi? If you know.
Yes. PP, it's Alyosha Gushi, also called Mola. He was also a member of KLA in that time. He joined, I don't know what time he joined the KLA, but
Okay. Thank you, Mr.
he
Kapoor.
had a unit. Yeah, I served in his unit for some time.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Kabashi. And you did provide evidence about that and about serving in that unit in your Limai testimony, so I won't cover that again now. But if you can look again at the article, and if you can please skim the column to near the bottom of that first paragraph. And if you can look for the word Schultzy. If you can let me know when you find the word Schultz.
In a second, yes, almost at the end.
Yes, that's right. Almost at the end of that paragraph in the second column. Now, Mr.
Yes.
Kabashi, if you can read that sentence and the next sentence, and while you do so, I'll read the English translation of the same parts, so that you'll also hear it. I know you're having trouble reading the Albanian on the screen. Okay? So this is the English translation is on page U0093226, and it's 4 lines down. His, and that's referring to the PP that we just discussed, his hatred and his evil mind was shown even on the 26th of September 1998, when he ordered a KLA soldier, aka Schultz, who served in Jablanica, to murder a deputy of the small valley of Baran, and the chief of the information of the KLA 131st Brigade in Baran, and gave a Croatian 15th. But Schultz didn't accept this order. Mr. Gabashi, who is the person named Schultz in this article?
That was me.
Thank you. Is that a nickname?
Yes.
And who gave Schultz or you the order that's being discussed here?
I'm sorry, one more time.
And who gave you the order that's being discussed here, the order to kill the Baran Valley
Same
deputy?
person, same person we talked before.
And who is that?
Alyosha Gushi.
And do you know who the person is that is referred to here as the Baran Valley deputy and chief of information of the KLA 131st Brigade? Who is that?
That's it's about Isha, and I kind of know how the things went that time.
Sorry, Mr. Kabashi, I think you may have interrupted a bit. Who is it? What's the name of that person who's described as the Baran Valley deputy?
Baran Valley deputy was Rag Berisha, and also he was in charge for giving information to that time president of Kosovo in exile, basically Ibrahim Rugova. Rag Berisha was in charge for also the civilians to help him and try to, after some villages, let's say, move from the war, try to set them up, give them a cover, food or whatever.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Witness. Now, does this part of the article that I just read to you, does it conform with your recollection of the events?
What do you mean?
Is it accurate that you received an order from PP to kill the Baran Valley deputy, who you've now identified as Rag Berisha?
Yes.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'd ask that this article, along with its English translation, be admitted into evidence. That's U0093224 to U0093226.
May that be marked for identification rather than admitted. We have objections to the entire document going in. I'll outline them briefly if I may. Essentially, insofar as this is suggested to be put forward as corroborating evidence.
Witness, you'll need to take your earphones off for just a moment. We have to discuss something outside of your presence. Can you hear me?
It's not essentially terribly sensitive, but the passage that's just been put to the witness is a record or an extract from the article by Rag Berisha, which refers to this witness telling him of what it is he said he told him. In other words, it's not probative of the underlying allegation, it's probative of the fact that the same source said the same thing to him. And there's no independent material for it. So it's not corroborative of the witness in any technical sense because it's from the same source. It's just, it is, if anything, evidence of a contemporary statement, but it's not corroborative. And secondly, as is always the practice in this court, a document such as this, it is the passages read to the witness and adopted by them that get admitted through the transcript, not the using one small passage as a Trojan horse to admit a lot of other untested and untestable material. We need to keep the rules consistent.
And my objection, of course, is in foundation. Again, this witness has never seen this article. He doesn't even recall seeing it. The prosecution shows it to them, and he can't even verify that he saw it. And again, consistent with what my colleague said, all this is, you know, Rob, is an echo chamber, if you will, of comments back and forth. So I would object, most importantly on foundation, as with most of my arguments, but certainly the echo chamber that Mr. Emerson raised is significant.
Just to be clear, I'm not actually making a general echo chamber argument, nor am I pursuing the basis of objection that Mr. Kehoe is maintaining all the way through, which I adopt. But the concern here is the established practice when material of this sort is used in this trial is that the extracts put to and adopted by the witness are admitted through solely the fact that they have been put to and adopted by. Now here, that's one point, stands independently. Why should it be that for this witness it's different than from any other witness that Your Honours have ruled on, which is that it's the extract from a piece of evidence that becomes evidence? Suddenly it's just a different approach by counsel, as far as I can tell, because the previous counsel took the opposite approach. But more importantly, this isn't corroboration.
Just briefly, Your Honor, just most of these arguments go to the ultimate probative value. The article's source, author, and date are clearly identified on the face of the document. The witness has knowledge of and has commented on its comments. Its contents are clearly relevant. And the whole page should be admitted, even though the SPO only intends to rely on the portion of the document that has been translated, since the page as a whole goes to its authenticity, reliability, and probative value. Thank you.
The entire article, ERN U009 3224 through U009 3226 is admitted.
Your Honor, may I just ask for a short two-sentence clarificatory ruling on why this is different from all of the other witnesses in the approach Your Honours have endorsed in all other witnesses, please?
It is a clear statement. It is made, this gentleman has recognized it. It is dated. It is authentic. It comes from a recognized source. He has recognized that he made these statements, and it's admissible.
Well,
It's
just to be, I hope there's no factual misunderstanding here. This witness has been taken
This
to
is not
3
an
lines.
argument. I already entered it. I already ruled on it.
Oh, very well.
Go ahead, Mr. Quick. Oh, I'm sorry. You have to assign a number.
Your Honor, the article with ERN U009 3224 to U009 3226 will be assigned Exhibit P 735. Should it be classified as public or confidential?
Thank you.
Sorry, it can be public.
It will be reclassified as public without, if there's no objection.
Sorry, just to clarify, just the one page that's admitted can be public. The remainder remains confidential.
Go ahead.
I believe the witness needs to put his headphones back on.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Thank you, witness. We will proceed now.
Now, Mr. Kabashi, we just discussed the order that you received from Alusha Gushi to kill Rakbarisha. Did you ever receive similar orders from Alusha Gushi?
Yes, I had another one, but it Goshi.
You just said Fadil Gashi. Did this order concern anybody else?
What do you mean?
Was the order just for Fadil Gashi, or was
Fadil, I'm sorry, it was Fadil Goshi and Dean Berisha.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
Yeah.
Witness. Did you receive this order before or after you received the order for Rakbarisha?
That was before.
And where did you receive this order?
What do you mean, where? Like,
So the order that you just said you received in relation to Fadil Gashi and Dean Berisha, where were you when you received this order?
I was on the road going actually from Yablanica with some of my also relatives and members of KLA. We've been going towards village called Volyak. We wanted to go there for some. I had some relatives and bar there from that place. And,
Sorry,
I was
Your
asking
Honor.
to
I
repeat that.
met
Mr. Kabashi,
Yusufushi by the
sorry to interrupt, but you are breaking up again. If possible, can you start again, and we'll see if the connection is better.
Yes, I said I got the order from Alyosha Gushi. That day I was going from Yablani to the village called Volyak. And where the river is, called the Rini, where we used to pass the water where it was
Apologize.
less water, basically. And there was some
I'm
times
sorry to
there was
interrupt, Mr.
much
Witness.
water across there.
Sorry to interrupt, and I know we're speaking over each other. I just want to make sure that this evidence is being captured, and there was another interruption in the video link stream. If you can,
Just a second.
Yeah.
Witness, try to stay steady while you're testifying instead of moving your head around. I think that might have something to do with the breakup. So I realize that's going to be maybe uncomfortable for you, but try to just look straight ahead when you're testifying.
So the last thing that we have clearly on the record, Mr. Kabashi, is you said I got the order from Alushagushi. That day I was going from Yablanica to the village called Volyak, I believe is the correct village. Can you
Yes.
continue from there?
Yes. Yes, he was coming toward Jablanica, and we met over there by usually when somebody gets to the water, other side has to wait. It's a, small place to pass it. So I was waiting, and then he saw me, recognized me, and I saw them too. I saw him. So I get out the car. We talked about it, and he told me that they just had some problems with Fadil Ghashi, and he's the one who's basically going against KLA, and he's not obeying orders, whatever stuff, and that he has to be taken care of.
Okay. And what did you mean that he had to be taken care of? What did you mean? What did you understand that to mean?
He has to be eliminated, basically.
Okay. And you said you saw Alushagushi at this crossing by the river. Was Alushagushi with anyone? Was anyone else with him?
Yes, there are two cars, as I recall now. I believe there are two cars coming that time.
Okay. And who was in the cars? Did you see anyone in addition to Alushagushi?
I saw Binag Ghashi that I recognized. He's also from that area. And I don't know, other people.
Okay. Anybody else that you recognized?
Not there. Not that I remember, actually.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Kabashi. And what was Alushagushi wearing when you saw him?
I do not think he had a uniform. I really don't remember.
Yeah. And
Uniform.
And was he armed?
Usually everybody was armed at that time.
And the same for Binakashi?
Yeah.
Okay, Mr. Witness, did you know Binakashi at the time that you saw him?
I believe that, yes, I'm going to give a reason why, because his appearance and his size was a little heavy. And also, before this happened, I was going past through his place, basically in a school in Sarka village. So we were going for the weapons to Albania, and he was there. So I think I knew it before. I'm not 100% sure, but.
Okay, Mr. Witness, there was a slight breakup. You said I was going past through his place, and then on the transcript it's indiscernible. What village did you say that the record didn't pick up?
The place where he was basically set, it's called the village Sverka, and it's a school there. That's where the KLA was stationed
Okay,
at
Mr.
that time. So
Understood. And when did you pass through this village, Sverka?
By the dates, I do not remember
Was it after you were in the Berisha Mountains?
exactly when. Uh, Actually, yes, because when we went to Shan Mountains, I went with Molia's unit, and I don't know exactly, we stayed a week or two, and the way back, we were coming to Yablanica because Yablanica was under attack too. We stopped in Svark, and then that's where I met with Leopardi, one of my previous commanders, and he said that he had a word from Dernica, from the main base, that he needs to go to Albania for weapons and come quick. We are under attack over there too, and we don't have much ammunition and stuff. So he asked me if I can join him, since I had some experience, previous experience, and it was very dangerous to go. We had to drive with the cars and areas where it was controlled by Serbs. So I think 100% was after I came from the Berisha Mountains.
Okay, understood. So it was during this trip to Sverk that you met Binakashi. Am I correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And at the time, did you also know who Fadil Gashi was?
Not much. I knew about his family. Not personally. Not much.
At the time, did you know where Fadil Gashi was from?
Yes.
And how about Dina Berisha? Did you know him at the time you received this order?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Now, going back to what we were just discussing, so when you saw Alushagushi and Binakashi at the crossing by the river, what specifically did Alushagushi tell you?
I just said it before. I cannot remember word for word.
Before you had said that he told you to take care of Fadil Gashi, is that right?
Yes.
And did he tell you anything else?
Just, I don't remember what we all talked about.
Was anyone else present when Alushagushi told you to take care of Fadil Gashi?
No, my cousins were born. One of my cousins.
And one of your cousins was present
I
when...
thought.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it was present, much as I remember.
And after he gave you the order, what did Alushagushi do?
He went in his way, I went in my way.
And after he left, did you inform the other people that were with you?
I tried to send a word to both, actually. I tried to send a word to Fadil Gashi and Din Berisha.
And how did you do that?
With Din Berisha, I had one of my relatives that was his, basically same last name, same village.
Okay. And how did you intend a message to be sent to them?
And that time when these things start happening, basically in general, nobody liked it because it was not something that we should do. And I tried to do my best to stop, and also I tried to save. So I tried to send him a word through my cousin and saying, be careful.
Okay, so when you stopped at this crossing by the river and spoke to Alushagushi, your cousin was with you. Who else was with you?
I had two of my cousins with me in a car.
You had two cousins and anybody else?
I do not remember how many. I know my first cousin that usually we went in a war together. We joined basically together. He was with me most of the time.
Okay, and you just
The other ones used to go for events, and I tried to help them while we used to go together.
And you just testified that that you sent one of these cousins to give a warning to Fadil Gashi. Do you know if he actually carried out that message? If he delivered that message?
Excuse me, we just lack of
Actually, I
clarity.
gave him
Excuse
a
me,
report.
witness.
Witness.
There's some lack of clarity as to who got the message, Fadil Gashi or Dean Berisha.
Sustained. Please
Dean
clarify.
Berisha.
You just said Dean Berisha. Is that the person who you intended to receive the message? And did he actually receive the message?
Much as I know, I believe so, because also he left Kosovo right after and tried to. I went to Austria, I believe, right after.
Okay, and after you left the crossing, after you spoke to Alushagushi, where did you go?
Actually, I went to my cousins, like I said, Lyon, and then I don't remember that whole route away. Same day, I do not remember.
Okay, and then after you went to Volyak to your cousins, did you go anywhere else?
Like I said, I don't remember. I usually go back to Yablanica, or I used to go to their needs for weapons and stuff. I do not remember that day where I went.
Okay, and do you remember when you went to Yablanica next? You said you usually went to Yablanica after.
I just gave you that answer. I don't remember. Maybe that day I went back. I believe
Okay, so
I went back. That it could be.
okay, so soon after is what I'm interpreting your evidence
Yes.
to be. Okay, and when you
Yeah.
returned to Yablanica, what did you see there?
What do you mean by that?
When you went back to Yablanica, where did you go in the village?
And a base where I used to go all the time.
And this base was the KLA base?
Yes.
And when you arrived at this base, who did you see or what did you see?
We had this discussion before also. And how you asking who did you see, but you see the same day or not? I cannot recall that I see the same day. This is what the other prosecutors did, and other investigators trying to relate things to another. Like I see now, trying to relate it to who I see that day after I come back to Yablanica.
So, witness, I'm not trying to make any relation. I'm trying to ask you
Yes,
when
you are.
you returned to Yablanica and you went to the KLA base there in the village, who or what did you see? Whether it was the
First,
same
like I
day
said-
or another day.
It can be same day because Yablanica was my place. Meaning Yablanica was the place where I joined the KLA, and that's where I joined the unit. And then if we go somewhere other places to help or do something, then I will come back. So now, did I come back that day or not? I don't know. I just keep telling you. Did I see anybody? If you want it, like ask me like direct question, it will be better. For anything, doesn't matter. You judge or the other side, I will answer truthfully to direct questions.
Understood, Mr. Kabashi. Did you see anybody at Yablanica at the KLA base when you went there?
I saw a lot of people in Yablanica and KLA base. Like, a lot.
Okay. And after, the first time you went to Yablanica after you received this order from Alusha Gushi, who did you see at the KLA base in Yablanica village?
I don't remember. If you can help me out, what you wanted to know, please.
We talked before about Alusha Gushi. Did you see him at the KLA base in Yablanica village?
Yes.
And did you see anybody else that you remember?
People who I remember,
Yes, that's right.
I saw a lot of people.
And did you recognize any of these people? For example, in addition to Alusha Gushi, we also spoke about Binakashi. Did you see him at the KLA base in Yablanica after you returned?
I do not remember the Binagashi was back when I came back. I do not recall that. He might been, might not.
Okay. At the time that you returned to Yablanica and to the KLA base in the village, what uniform were you wearing?
After I went for weapons from Varka that I mentioned before, I had a black uniform that was given to me from Leopardi, so I used to use that a lot. Basically, probably I had that one.
And did you have a conversation about this black uniform with anyone when you returned to Yablanica at the KLA base?
Yes.
And who was the person you had that conversation with?
Was Recep Selimi. He was with other people in Yablanica, meaning in the front yard of the base. He knew the uniform that belongs to Black Tigers unit that was made in Dernica, and he said to me that that uniform belongs to, somebody else, and he said, I'm going to collect them. Then when I told him who I am and he gave it to me, he said, oh, I understand and I know, basically.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kabashi.
I met him that day.
Sorry, Mr.
If you're
Kabashi, I
asking
didn't
for that.
hear that last part. If you can repeat it.
I said, yes, I met Recep Selimi that day. That was the conversation about the black uniform.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kabashi. At the time, did you know Recep Selimi?
We knew him like number 10, but also one other time, I don't know, was before this, I believe it was before this, we were just talking. We had a ride where we were going from their needs up a lot of people for weapons to Albania. So I joined him in a car and we went to Yablanica.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. Now, at Yablanica, you've now said that you saw Alusha Gushi, you saw Dina Berisha, you saw Recep Selimi. Did you see anybody else that you recognized?
I didn't mention Dina Berisha.
Sorry, Binakashi, that's my mistake. Binakashi, Alusha Gushi, and Recep Selimi.
Vinagashi, I said I saw him by the river. I do not recall I saw him back to Yablanica. I remember I saw Recep Selimi, we had a conversation. I remember was other people with him too at Yablanica, but I did not know them.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Witness. Now, Did you ever carry out the order to kill Fadil Gashi?
No, I did not.
And why not?
Like I said before, for me, being raised like Albanian, we don't do that. We don't kill each other for different beliefs. And there's no court order, no justice, just kill him because he thinks different. And that's what it's about at that time. That's what was about it.
Okay. And Mr.
People were getting killed just because they think different.
And Mr. Kabashi, did you carry out the order to kill Dina Berisha?
No.
And for the same reasons?
Of course.
And after, did you ever talk with Alu Shigushi about the order?
I remember I had another conversation about it because much as I recall, right after I got the order was that road that connects the Jablanica area where I was serving, and then where Fadil Gashi lives. It's a road that goes from the city of Klina to Jakova. It was that time and under our control, but after offensive Serbs took it, and was right after. So much as I remember, again, my reason was like, I cannot go in that area for now because it's, dangerous, and we'll see. So.
And you provided this reason to Alu Shigushi?
Yeah, that was my.
Okay. Mr. Kabashi, afterwards, did you tell anyone else about the order you received to kill Fadil Gashi and Dina Berisha?
After when?
So after you received the order, in addition to the people we've already discussed, did you tell anybody else about the order to kill Fadil Gashi and Dina Berisha?
Now the time I do remember after the Rod Berisha's order that I had, I tried to find out that where those are coming from and why. So I talked about it with my uncle that I believed, and basically I grew up with him, and he knows he had experience in life, and he knows things, he knows people around there. My family mostly, but he was more the one who knew things and helped me out through when I had some problems or when I needed to make some right decisions. So I spoke to him after I had the order for Rod Berisha, and we decided to send a letter to Ramosh Haradina and find out from him if he knows about those things. He didn't give us any answer. He said that he has no knowledge, he knows nothing about it, and he asked me to go back to Jablanica, join the army again, because you guys are the best fighters I ever had. That time we were like 4 of my family. So, but in the meantime, was another thing that happened right after Rod Berisha's, that Zikriatsona was given order to be killed, and my neighbors that he joined the KLA after me. He had that order with his unit, that was Togeri's unit, and they did not do it because they know who was Zikriatsona, and basically in Albanian or in Kosovo, like he was one of the, I can say, patriotic. He was doing with movements and trying to do a lot of good things against Serbs and get Albanians together to forgive, out between each other. He was known, basically, very known for us. So they could not carry the order, and they decided to move to another village from Jablanica and send people to Ramushi and try to talk. Haradinaj tried to talk to him, talk it through why this is happening. They did not basically have a right answer, and the whole unit kind of split. Some of them, they returned back to Jablanica because when they didn't carry the order, Togeri was asking them who was the one who, said no to kill him. They took his car.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kabashi. Now, you said you were told about this incident involving Zakaria Sana by a neighbor.
Yes,
Who is that neighbor?
Zevdet Mandy. And also he asked uncle to go to Pristina and talk to Zikriatsona. We've been trying to go to Adem Democi. It was a very bad time from Peja to go to Pristina. At that time was a suicide mission, basically. It was very hard because you have to go to the area where Serbs controlled it. He wanted to go. My uncle took the risk and went there and talked to Zikriatsona, explained everything, and my problem that I had, this problem, other things that we knew that what's going on, and try to make basically, because that time Adem Democi was a kind of political voice for KLA, or a speaker, or I don't know how to call it. So we were trying to reach out higher ranks to people and find out why the killings are happening between us.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kabashi. Now, when did Jevdet Kelmendi tell you and your uncle about this incident involving Zakaria Sana?
In October '98, it's when I moved from Jablanica, when I had I believe it was October, I believe it was October or end of September, when we had the order for Rogberisha. So that was the first time actually I told my two cousins that they're not between us. And Yaha, the older one, he did not believe me and be happy. I said it's true and it's not the time. And also I said what we're hearing, and also was that time was Sabri Hamiti was shot to his apartment in Pristina. So it's kind of like same day or maybe a day after I had the order for Rogberisha. And he said, I knew that it's coming from here and it's from Ramu and Togeri's words. He said, oh, tonight, because we're not to each other. We find what they're doing. He could not believe it either. Like, because also other thing, Ramushi was our idol before that. And when those things happening, and he gave us no answer about those killings, and
okay,
I tried to
thank you,
reach him out,
Mr.
yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Kabashi. Sorry to interrupt. Now, I'm having trouble telling when Shavdek Kilmendi actually told you about the Zakaria Sana thing. I see October 1998. Was it after you left the KLA and went home?
I didn't leave the KLA. I left Yablanica to go home and try to fix it. When I went home, when it was my neighbor, one night saw us outside in our, I can say in our yard behind the house. It was like a hill, and he lives right another side. So when he saw us from far and he started come close to our land, he said, I thought so, you guys, and I didn't believe it. Then also I, I was happy I saw him, and so then he explained to us the problem he had too. He came to my house and we tried to, like I said before, we sent our uncle to Pristina. He was trying to solve this problem, and then we kind of see a thing that we should not go back to Yablanica. We've been preparing together to go to Albania because we hear that another units are getting together for fight, and that was before we got arrested from Serbs.
Thank you, Mr. Kabashi. What unit was Shavdek Kilmendi in?
Togary's unit.
Do you know what that unit was called?
I think it was called Black Eagles.
Thank you. And where was it based, if you know?
At that time was in Yablanica because it was after the offensive in Tugatini area. So almost everybody was in Yablanica at that time. Not just soldiers that are after some of them that came back trying to gather together again after the offensive.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kabashi. Now I want to return to the order that you received to kill Fadil Gashi and Dina Berisha. Did you ever tell the ICTY about this order?
What do you mean by?
When you gave statements to the ICTY, did you tell them about the order you received to kill Fadil Gashi and Dina Berisha?
Of course I did.
Okay. And did you ever make any other statements, including in public, about this order?
I did.
And when was that?
In public, I made it, I believe it was in 2019, the last time I was in Kosovo. And
okay. And do you remember where you gave this interview? What was the station?
I interview in T7 station, where T7 they called.
Okay, and why did you?
Stations.
Okay, and why did you make a public statement about this event at this time?
But we have a word that they say Albanian medalla shopping fishing period. It's a word. So to separate things, because also from the war and after needs to be known who's killing, and needs to be known in public too. People need to know that they use the KLA do bad things. They use the name of KLA. KLA was not used for anybody. KLA was for the people, not for names, not for mythology, for myths, not for commanders.
Okay. Mr. Kabashi, did you ever discuss this matter with Fadil Gashi?
I had a discussion once after I went in a studio, because I hear he made some statement. So if Alusha Gushi did that, give that order, he owns me, whatever. I went and then meet him because also we knew him. My uncle was friend with his brother actually. So Fadil Ghoshi was LDK. It's a political party that was brought up by 1988, 89 from Rubova. He was a leader for Klina city at that time. And we knew him, we knew his family. I used to work there, so I feel bad if something will happen, even though it's Alyosha Gushi or whatever who he is. So I told him that I hear you made a statement this month. I said if needed to go in court, I will come and testify, no problem. And I will, or even in, you know, like old tradition, Albanian tradition, I will say the truth. But I said I don't like if I hear that somebody will get killed because of what I said. He agreed with me in those kind of conversations. He said you should contact me. He said, oh, I didn't have a phone number or nothing. But anyway, long story short, after that he made it a statement saying that I don't believe Kabashi or Alyosha Gushi, neither are. And for a split second, my man went.
Mr.
Water. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt. Have you ever reported the incident to the Kosovo authorities?
Which incident?
The order you received to kill Fadil Gashi.
No, I don't think so. I mean, when I give the statement before the ICTY in 2004, was the police, was LX, was everybody, they knew I said that too. So kind of like I told the truth, meaning I did. Wait, I did.
Thank you, Mr. Kabashi. Now, you've testified that Alu Shigushi gave you orders to kill Rock Berisha, Fadil Gashi, and Dina Berisha. Do you know why he would choose you to carry out these orders?
When I joined the KLA, like other people in Kosovo that was frustrated from the Serbian regime. I've been beaten from Serbs before, very young, and even high school, from there. And when I joined, I volunteered. I wanted to fight for real. I really didn't know what the fight is or anything, but I wanted to fight, and that's what I did. So when sometime needed to go for weapons and needed people who have more courage or more, I don't know how to explain. I'm not going to say that I was the best. I used to go, and also one point when Alyosha Gushi told me that some weapons from their needs are being around my house, somewhere neighborhood, and nobody can take it to bring it there. So he said, can you do it? But you have to make sure they don't get caught. So I got my family and two of my friends that they are in KLA already. So we went and sent the weapons underneath us. So I think after all the experience and stuff I had and fight also in Suk, we call it Suk Atsermionit. It's a hill between where we used to have a fight with Serbs, meaning fight line. I had experience there too and other places, so I think I was very close to him too. Even he made me when he was not there, he was leaving me in charge for his unit. He believed in me, and also he thought that I would carry orders with no problem.
Okay.
But I never believed that he will give me such an order.
Thank you, Mr. Witness. I have only two brief topics to complete, and I would be done before the break. And then with your honor's leave, I can read the Rule 154 summary or not. It's up to you.
We're about 10 minutes over at this point, but it was slow starting, so go ahead.
Okay. Thank you, Your Honor. So so we're moving on to a different topic entirely other than the orders. Witness, in your Limai testimony that has now been admitted, you were questioned in detail about events in spring 1998 at Yablonica. We won't cover those today, but there is one additional incident I want to ask you about. It involves certain sisters from Terpeza. You discussed this incident with Cheliku at Klechka, and you testified about this in your Limai testimony. I'll read part of your testimony, and then I have some questions about the incident, which I'll ask in private session to protect the privacy, well-being, and security of third parties. So the excerpt that I will read is from ITO4 84 bis P00119, page 4233, lines 14 to 17. And your answer is, so the conversation was about these girls. And as I said, I told them that there had been a problem with them, that they were questioned, they were accused of being Serb spies and of being in relationships with Serbs. Your Honors, if we could please move into private session for a couple of minutes, just for a couple of brief questions.
Private session, please, Madam Court Officer.
Your Honor, we're now in public session.
All right. Mr. Keel, we'll finish the statement, then we'll break for the break, and then we'll come back and you can begin your cross-examination at that point.
That's fine, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor. The witness's Rule 154 statement is comprised of his testimony in Limai et al. Before the ICTY on 11 and 14 March 2005. Around 9 April 1998, the witness went to Jablanica to join the KLA because he wanted to fight for his people. He was not permitted to join immediately. The witness believed the KLA first checked a volunteer's background to verify they were not collaborators with the enemy. After going to Albania to collect arms and taking part in fighting in Sirmion, the witness again asked to join the KLA in Jablanica. Lahi Brahimai agreed, gave the witness a weapon, and took him to the barracks, situated in a compound at the end of the village. Lahi Brahimai, also known as Majupi, was the most senior commander in Jablanica. The witness was first part of a unit based in the Jablanica barracks compound. By July 1998, he had joined Unit 192, or Mala's unit, under the command of Alusha Gushi, also known as Mala. With Unit 192, the witness was deployed to various locations, including the Barisha Mountains, in late July 1998. They were to assist the forces of Fatmir Limai, also known as Cheliko. When Jablanica was under attack, the witness and his units were called back. Between April and July 1998, the witness saw and learned of persons, including alleged spies and collaborators detained at the Jablanica compound. At Jablanica, detainees, including Yabu Shadi, Skender Kuchi, and Pal Krasnichi, were mistreated by, among others, Idris Bala, also known as Toger, and Lahi Brahimai. Around October 1998, Alusha Gushi gave the witness an order to kill Rock Barisha, who was an LDK activist. When asked, Agushi explained to the witness that Rock Barisha was responsible for the offensive in Lugu Ibaranit. The witness did not carry out the order. He informed Rock Barisha of the order and then went home. In December 1998, Serbian police arrested the witness. He was detained by the Serbian authorities for more than 3 years at prisons in Peja, Dubrava, Lipian, and finally Niš. While in prison, he was mistreated and frequently beaten. While giving his 2005 testimony in the Limai case, the witness explained that he asked for protective measures because he had been called a traitor and his family members had been threatened. Mr. Kabashi, that completes my direct examination. Thank you very much for coming today, and I also apologize for the practical difficulties that resulted in the delay to your testimony. It's much appreciated. Thank you.
Mr. Kabashi, we will take a half-hour break now for you to get a little rest, and then we will come back and have 2 more hours. So we are adjourned. We will be adjourned until 5:30. Madam Usher, you may escort the witness out. And we are adjourned until 5:30.
All rise. All rise.
Be seated. Madam Court Officer, you can bring the witness to the table.
Your Honor, just while the witness is being brought in, I noted that there are some statements of protected witnesses in the presentation cues for the defense. I just wanted to remind everyone about the order on 12 May 2023 about using evidence of protected witnesses, and that the first step should be not to identify the witness. If it's necessary to show the transcript, to do it in a way that doesn't identify it as an SPO transcript. And finally, to apply to the panel essentially for a variation if necessary. Thank you.
Nothing ever goes exactly as we hope. There's been an emergency, not involving our people, but there's been an emergency in the building where they are, and they had to evacuate the building. So we are going to be on hold for just a bit till we figure out what's going on. Thank you for everyone for your patience, and hopefully this gets resolved quickly. Be at ease, we'll leave the room.
Yes, sir.
And
All rise. All rise.
be seated. Thank you for your patience, witness. Can you hear okay? Can you hear okay?
I said yes.
Okay. We will begin with the cross-examination by first with the Thaçi defense. Go ahead, Mr. Keogh.
Thank you, Ron. Good afternoon, Mr. Kavashi. My name is Gregory Keogh, and I represent President Thaçi. Just want to ask you a few clarifying issues, if I may. Excuse me. As a person, know we speak quickly sometimes, but if you don't understand anything I say or any question, please let me know, and we'll clarify that for you, okay?
I cannot hear anything.
Okay.
Right now, yes.
Can you hear? You can hear now?
Yeah, I hear you now.
Okay. I was just saying that when we're discussing anything, if you don't understand my question or my question is not clear, just let me know, and I'll clarify it. And if we happen to interrupt you, as we're both English speakers here, please tell me you haven't finished, because I don't want to cut off anything you're saying. Okay. And I apologize ahead of time if I do it, but please bear with me. Okay. So we heard some during the summary that was given by the SPO prosecutor about you coming into the KLA on the 9th of April, and I take it you had no military experience and were 21 years of age, right?
Yes, I was 20.
And at that point you were sent, you had, even before you were in the KLA, you had gone down to Albania to get weapons, right?
It's the same time, basically, that's when I went.
I mean, you even went to Albania before you were in the KLA, and you even insisted to go to the front, fight before you were in the KLA, didn't you?
Yes,
And you had no experience in shooting, they taught you how to shoot?
when we went first to Albania, we got some training.
And with regard to, after you joined the KLA, and I will ask you this is from your ICTY statement, we're talking about the structure in the Ducagene zone when you were there, the Ducagene area. And you said that, and this is at U16, 2361 to 2399, paragraph 65. He said, talking about the structure there, he said it was not exactly the type of strict vertical military structure. There were some soldiers who would report directly to Lahia Brahimi, others to Agushi, and some others to Ramush Haradnai, who was the overall commander-in-chief of the Ducagene zone. Is that how it was, sir, that people were reporting to different commanders?
Yes, it was basically an building progress of LA, I can say. And there was a lot of loopholes, of course. And a lot of people also take advantages for their own things.
And there were
That
no
was another thing to
brigades.
mention.
Well, we'll get to that in a second, but there were no brigades either, right? And no procedures.
Yeah, there was no brigades at that time.
And in many cases, no one was answering to anyone else, were they?
Not quite, no one answer to no one. No, not like that, but like I said, was a built-in, so kind of like, if you want to ask me a direct question, I will answer better, I think.
Well, I mean, I
Like, what you
think,
mean by that?
I think you're talking about throughout all of this, that people were engaging their own personal needs and purposes and using the KLA as a cover, weren't they?
I'm sorry, one more time?
People were acting in their own personal, for their own personal purposes and their own personal needs, and they were using the KLA as a cover, weren't they?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay. We'll get back to that in a little bit. And by the way, just to get this out of the way, you mentioned direct something about the LDK. Your father was a member of the LDK, right?
What do you mean by that?
Or was he a supporter of President Rugova at the time?
At what time?
Well, at any time.
But since 88, 89, basically, I can say 95% to 99% of Kosovo Albanians were with Rugova idea, and after him, meaning they were listening to him, and that was the thing that put us together for trying to get liberated from Serbs, basically, trying to find alternatives and everything.
And so was your family a supporter of Rugova?
Like I said, yes, everybody, not just my family.
And that didn't prevent you from being taken into the KLA, did it?
I'm sorry, one more time.
That didn't prevent you from joining the KLA.
Of course not.
Now, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions, and bear with me a little bit because I have to ask you these questions given how the SBO has presented your evidence. And the way your evidence has been presented, it is that what you testified in the Limai case, you say is the truth, your sworn testimony in the Limai case. Is that right?
I said what I gave information and what I said, it's the truth. Yeah, what basically all of it.
And and I understand you have your own reasons for this, but you understand that you said something different in the Haradinaj case, didn't you?
Can you help me out in what you're talking exactly?
Well, I mean, in what we just heard from the SPO were about prisons in Yablanica that you testified to in Limai, and then in the Haradinaj case that you said that there were no prisons under oath, there were no prisons in Yablanica, and that you didn't see any prisons. And I referred to you at IT 0484 bis, TR 32 to T 419, page 344, 23 to 25, and then in the same bis, which is T 332 to T 419, page 345, 7 to 12. So would I be accurate to saying that what you said in the Limai case, and I'm just trying to get this straight. What you said under oath in the Limai case, you say is true. What you said under oath in the Haradinaj case was not true. Do I have that straight?
What I said today, much as I recall right now, I said today what I gave a statement and what I said it's true, but then also how the meaning investigators, or in this case the prosecutor, said it in English Albanian. That was another problem that could be, but I never accepted there was a prison, and I said that in Haradinaj's case there was no prison. Basically was no prison.
And
Was no detention center to say, okay, this part was prisoners, this part was soldiers, or any case like that.
you also told the court that you didn't see any prisoners there. Is that true?
I'm sorry?
You also told the court under oath in the Haradinaj case that you didn't see any prisoners there.
Because that time I did wanted to cooperate with the court.
I understand, but, so when you told them, when you didn't want to cooperate with the court, and you told them that they
With the prosecutor, basically.
I'm sorry, I mean, I understand, I'm just trying to get this straight, but when you told the court in the Haradinaj case under oath that there were no prisoners, that wasn't true, right?
One more time?
Well, you told us you didn't want to cooperate with the court in the Haradinaj case.
Yeah.
So when you told the court under oath, I didn't see any prisoners there being Yablanica, that wasn't true.
Because if you use the word prison, you know what prison is. Yablanica didn't have that kind of prison. So basically, I didn't see any prisoner. If you look at the right, it was open doors. They couldn't walk anywhere they wanted to.
I understand.
I hope so.
And you know, anytime you don't think I understand, please let me know. Okay? And ultimately, in the Haradinaj case, you refused to testify and you were held in contempt, right?
Yes.
And one of the reasons that you were upset with the prosecutor was that they didn't interview a gentleman by the name of Efren Marina. Is that right?
Yes.
Well, you now know that they did, in fact, the ICTY did, in fact, interview Efren Marina, didn't they?
I don't know. They did or they did not. But I don't think they did that time.
Well, you talked to Mr. Marina a few months ago in 2023. Did he tell you then that they had, ICTY had interviewed him?
Okay, I did not ask Marina anything about it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I can tell you this much. Marina was stopped, like he tried to join the KLA, and together with Idris Ngutsoti, when I joined the KLA in Yablanica, they're there, and they're mistreated they're beaten when I saw them.
So
They
all-
can say, all right,
Good.
they can say different, like, for instance, Fadil Goshi can say, I don't believe this or that, but Afrim Marina was beaten, and Idris Gutsoti was beaten. Both came to join the KLA, just like me.
And if Ephraim Marina told the ICTY he hadn't been beaten, you're saying, Excuse me.
I just said that before. He doesn't want to testify. He doesn't trust the ICTY. He doesn't trust the system, just like I don't.
okay, so if Ephraim Marina told the ICTY he had never
Yeah.
been beaten, you're saying that that
Yes.
would not be true?
He can say whatever he wants.
Okay. And so, but in refusing to testify at the Haradinai case, you maintained that, well, I'll read this to you. In your T7 interview in 2019, you said, if it weren't for me, Ramush Haradinai would have been sentenced regardless of whether he committed the crime or not. I am the main.
Not whether he committed
Excuse
the
me,
crime
excuse
or
me.
not, but
Hold on a second, let me finish.
because,
Let me finish.
no, I didn't say that.
Let me finish. This is your
Sure.
tape statement. I am the main
Sure.
protagonist that saved him. The purpose was to not be found guilty. So, did you tell the interview in T17 that you were the reason why Ramush Haradinai was
I
found?
did.
What's
I
that?
did, and I did, and I will tell you the reason why. I tell you right now. The reason why is because prosecutors, since the day first, and in the beginning, I gave a statement. For me, was to stop the crimes. Like I said today, I said it all the time. The reason was because innocent people were getting killed. Albanian people were getting killed. Since the war and after, never stopped. The reason I said, because prosecutors didn't care for that. Eulex didn't care to me. Nobody cared. What they wanted to do is bring Haradinai for a name, and it was a prime minister. They could took him before he became a prime minister. Same thing they did now with Mr. Thaçi. They could took him before, but they took him when he was the president. And this tells me that this is all it's all politicians and stuff, and because they had evidence even that time. For instance, they could ask Afrim Marina and try to, find out, and also they can ask Alyosha Gushi and try to why those things happen. But they want to put the names in court and make things even in Yugoslavia, like previous Yugoslavia, like, okay, Serbian did crimes, Croatians, now the Albanians too. That's why I didn't want it to cooperate with them, and that's why I went against them, because they always trying to go after the names, not what really truly what happened.
And when you
For
say-
instance, I'm sorry, but for instance, what had to do with Alyosha Gushi and Irak Berisha, and with me in this case, and my knowledge had nothing to do with Ramush Haradinai.
And you maintain that
And my experience from the war, my experience from KLA, even before KLA, it's those things don't relate the way they put it together.
and
That
you-
was the reason I didn't want to cooperate with them, and I didn't want to, because I seen it what it's going to.
And you likewise told the T-17 people that the only reason that they went after Haradinai was because he was a commander. Is that right?
Yes.
And based on your knowledge, Haradinai, everything you've talked about in the Dukagene zone that the prosecutor put you through, you have no indication that Haradinai was either involved or knew about any of that, do you?
I cannot say he knew or he don't. What I can say is when I asked him for his to help me out in the case I had, what had to do with Alyosha Gushi Berisha, he didn't give me the right answer to give me a welcome back to the KLA, basically. And the same thing he did with Javdet Kalman in his unit. So I will take him, meaning like, if you're a commander, you have responsibilities for your soldiers.
But, you know, he
And
told,
I don't think he did that in the right way. That's all I can tell.
okay, and what he did say to you at the time when you raised the issue was that he had no knowledge about it, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
I
Now,
said that before.
you know, as we, and we'll get back to that in a moment. And when we talked about, you know, the issues that came up with the Fadil Gashi matter, and all of these matters are involved the Dukagene zone, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
most of it.
And you know, you went on TV to start, in 2019, I think you told the prosecutor, was the first time you talked about the Fadil Gashi issue, is that right? Publicly?
Publicly, yeah.
Okay. And that had been preceded by, I guess, your arrest at a demonstration and your arrest for a weapon. That all preceded,
I got,
this.
Yeah, I got arrested for demonstration. I just asked to have a word because right there I was the one who experienced that massacre in Dubrava, and the people who are representing me and my friends, I didn't like it the way they did it for like 20 years now. So my frustration was I wanted to say that something. They didn't give me a chance. Even they arrest me, and then they put it like I had a weapon. And also today, as we speak, I have a warrant arrest from Interpol in Europe for carrying a weapon with no license. It never happened before Kosovo to put warrant for somebody just for a weapon. It was not the thing, but they did it.
Well, we'll get back to that in a second. But that is,
Sure.
that was all happened prior to you going on to give this interview publicly about the Fadil Gashi, the order to kill Fadil Gashi and Dina Berisha, right?
Yes.
Now, let's look at that. So there is a meeting by the side of the road, a chance meeting by the side of the road, and Agushi gets out of the car and he tells you about this kill order to kill both Dina Berisha and Fadil Gashi, right?
Yeah.
Excuse me. And you then obviously didn't execute that order, correct?
Yes.
And with regard to the two people involved, you never went and told Fadil Gashi anything about that, did you?
What do you mean by that?
Well, you didn't go to his house and say, you told us that unlike Roch Berisha, you didn't go to Fadil Gashi's house to say, look, I have been given an order to kill you. You didn't do that, did you?
No, I did not.
Okay. And no one in your family did that either, did they?
We did tell Dean Berisha that he should warn also. We told through one of my cousins.
Well, let's stay with Dean Berisha. Dean Berisha, you told that he was in danger. You never told him that there was a kill order out for him, did you?
What do you mean by that? Kill order and danger. It's kind of the same if you look at the right way.
Well, this is a comment that you made to the SPO in proofing note 2, paragraph 49. You do not remember if you told him, your neighbor, that he received an order to kill Dina Berisha. What you did say was that you told your neighbor to tell Dina Berisha to be careful and that he was in danger. Is that right?
Okay. In that time, you have to experience the time or know more about it and then to ask this kind of question. Because it was not that simple. Here in court, it's easy. You guys have time, you get paid, all of you. And that time was different. Life and taking your life was a split second. And it was very dangerous times. And what I said was the truth. Now, did I say you're in danger, or did I say I have an order? I didn't say I have an order to kill. No. I sent my cousin, please try to warn him. And that was not easy to do because, let's say, if you send a warning to somebody that you're in danger of your life, and that spills out like it did with Rock Berisha, then you're in danger. And you probably know that better than I do.
Sir, I'm just trying to clarify some of the things that you had.
Well, you're not trying to clarify. Basically, you're trying to mix them up more, not clarifying.
And
You have it perfectly clear what I say.
Okay.
I believe so.
And if you believe that I have got something incorrect, please, Mr. Kabashi, we'll give you the opportunity to clarify that.
You're doing it on purpose to try to just ask me direct questions, and I tell the truth. I do not tell, and I'm only here for the truth.
Okay, sir. Now, you maintain that you told the SPO back in 2004 that you explained to them about the Fadl-Gashi ICTY, excuse me. I explained to them about the ICTY that you had told them in 2004 about the kill order on Fadl-Gashi. Do you recall saying that?
I'm sorry, one more time?
Well, let me cut to the chase. I put to you that you had two statements to the ICTY, one in 2004, one in 2007, and you never told the ICTY in those statements that you had received a kill order from Alush Agashi to kill Fadl-Gashi. Alush to kill Fadl-Gashi. You never said that to him, did you?
In 2007, I left the court. In 2004, I don't recall they asked me about that. But when I give my statement before that, I told the truth. Now, whatever was written in paper, one way or another, it's a totally different story.
Okay, sir. I put to you this, that in the two statements that you gave to the ICTY, there's nothing in those statements about a kill order for Fadl-Gashi.
Okay?
Okay. And you obviously signed those documents, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those statements?
Okay.
Okay. And you signed them after you had reviewed them with nothing in either one of them about Fadl-Gashi.
Okay.
Okay. Well, let me just move on. So there's nothing in
Sure.
your 2004 ICTY statement. There's nothing in your 2007 ICTY statement. You don't mention this kill order in either the Limai case or the Haradnai case, right?
Okay.
And at the end of the day, nothing happens to Fadl-Gashi, right?
Okay.
That's true, isn't it?
You're still alive?
He's still alive. And you have the Rock Berisha situation, that you went to Rock Berisha and you saw Rock Berisha and told them about with the kill order, right?
Yes.
And he told you that he had gone to the Avlanisa headquarters to find out what the story was, didn't he?
All right. Yeah, I'm going to explain that because you told him, he told you, it's kind of like not bringing us anywhere. And I would like to explain, you said before, so When it comes to Rod Berisha, it's a little bit different. Me, I wanted to stop. I wanted to stop the killings. I wanted to stop the problems we had inside, and I could not kill anybody like that in cold blood. So Rod Berisha at that time, he was also deputy of meaning of LDK, and also he was in charge from Tahir Zemai, that was also commander of KLA for Barani area, or Dubai Barani, how we call. And also Tahir Zemai had a deal with Ramosh Haradinaj how to operate, and they were cooperating together. They were working together. So it was that time when they had a deal, and was things are like getting better for us, like a army or like a KLA, and I was happy about it. So when I had the order for Rod Berisha, I wanted to try and find a way, any possible way, to reach to higher commands, and I said that before, so we can stop the crimes, we can stop those killings, and also find out where they're coming from. That was so. With Rod Berisha, we had a long conversation, like why this is happening, where it can be coming from, what problem he had with who. Rod Berisha.
Sir, suffice it to say at this point, we have Fadel Gashi, Dine Berisha, and Rock Berisha, and none of the three of these, nothing happened to any of the three of them, did they?
No.
And the person who gave you this order was Agushi, right?
Mm-hmm.
And after you refused to do this, to your knowledge, Agushi didn't give this contract out to anybody else, did they?
I don't know about that.
Well, to your knowledge, did they?
Like I said, to my knowledge, I don't know if he gave order to anybody else or not.
And you talked a bit in direct examination about another individual by the name of, correct me if I'm wrong, Zechariah Kana, that Javad Kelmedi told you that there was a kill order out to him, right?
Yeah.
And nothing happened to him either, right?
No. That day, like I said, and I explained that before, the soldiers who took the order from Togheri, they did not execute the order. And that's why actually after Togheri questioned them, this is like what Javdeti told me clearly, they left the unit. They went to another village over there. They tried to contact Ramushi. They tried to explain. They tried whatever they tried. You told me, he told you this and that, but that was the truth. And actually, one of the villagers there, when he was passing by with a car, he was from the village of Bardanich, took Zekriatson on his own car and told him, "Professor, come." Those are the words from Zekriatsona. Told him and drove him away from the place where he was stopped and took his car from him.
But sir, all of these orders come from Agushi and nobody else, right?
This with Zekriatsona was not from Alush Agushi.
It's from Tamar. The other three we're talking about came from Agushi, right?
Mm-hmm.
And let me ask you this. You told in one of your interviews, and this is your YouTube interviews, and this is what we touched on before, many criminals who also hidden under other names or also many things they have done, people have done for their own personal needs or their own personal purposes, have tried to hide behind the KLA. You continue. Crimes have been committed not in KLA's name. They have been committed for people's personal needs, and then they have been covered up under the KLA name. Do you remember saying that, sir?
Where is that?
That is in an interview that you had, was published on, believe it or not, YouTube, that you gave, and it looks like you gave it on the 25th of May, 2022.
In where?
It was on YouTube, sir. It was a taped conversation on YouTube.
Maybe council could give the actual source.
106.
It was published on YouTube, but it was to a.
That's okay.
I'm asking for the source, not YouTube. I don't remember.
106 97501 TRET, page 3. My understanding is that it comes from Top Channel. And this is the transcript in both Albanian and English. And at the top of the page, you say, many criminals who have, oh, I'm sure you can read it, who also have hidden under other names, or also many things they have done. People have done for their own personal needs or their own personal purposes, have tried to hide behind the KLA. And you go on to say, crimes have been committed not in the KLA's name, they have been committed for people's personal needs, and they have been covered up under the KLA name. Did you say
Yes.
that, sir? Did you say that?
I'm trying to understand the whole thing, but it's making no sense. But it is. I wanted to see it that
Okay.
before I admit everything, because I believe I put in Albanian, and some words can be different. But most of what you're saying is it's true. They did that.
Now,
I believe like that.
And people were committing crimes for their own personal reasons and their own personal needs, as you say here, right?
Yeah, has those kind of things happened too? That's we know.
And we know that you were given an order by Alush Agushi to kill 3 people. He individually gave you that order. You didn't carry it out. Those people continued to live. And when you asked, and when you asked Haradinaj about the kill order of Rock Baricha, he said he had no knowledge about this, right?
Okay.
So, my question to you is, was Alush Agushi giving you these orders for his own personal needs?
You should ask him.
Well, after you refused the order, an order didn't come back down from Haradinaj telling you to go out and kill these people, did it?
I'm sorry?
Well, after you refused or didn't kill these people, and I'm talking about Fadil Gashi, Dean Berisha, and Rock Berisha, when you got the order to kill those 3 people and didn't do it, you didn't get an order from somebody else like Haradinaj, the operative zone commander, telling you to go out and do it, did you?
No, I did not.
And as a matter of fact, when it comes to somebody like Rock Berisha, he was on very good terms with Ramush Haradinaj, wasn't he?
Yes, as he said.
Okay. And so throughout all of this, and nobody giving you any, there are no negative consequences to you when you refuse to execute these orders. Wasn't it clear to you at this point that this was a personal endeavor by Alush Agushi?
I could not say that. I think Alush Agushi had reasons, his own reason in his connections that he had and he has still today. And if you allow me to explain, I would like to explain a little bit how I feel about this. When like I said before, from 88, 89, Rugova started his political party trying to find the relatives, like ways to bring people together and get freedom from Serbia or from Yugoslavia that were actually start going down at that time, and we know what happened. Now we had groups, we had people that never stopped trying to, even in a way with weapons or by getting together like guerrillas and try to get together more and more people so to fight against Serbs. For us in that time, I'm talking about what I hear and what Rugova was trying to do was not good time to start a war against Serbia in 90s in the beginning because they were very powerful. We did not have power. And 97 also in Albania was like a civil war between politicians inside of Albania. So we don't really have much support from them like a country either. Was not strong in that like a how to say it, like a government. Didn't have a strong government. So in 98 when guerrillas groups, Albanian groups, and KLA after became a KLA, and they start to shoot Serbian forces or police stations. Or Rugova made one statement. Rugova made one statement saying that can be frustrated groups, and also can be Serbia trying to put something. So saying that is because, like I said before, 99% I can say was everybody was like, with Rugova in that path for the freedom. When the KLA come up from the frustration and all these, everybody wanted to join KLA, meaning the young generations like me. And that's what we did. So it became right away very big thing. But also people that I mentioned, like you're asking me question before, they use that opportunity inside of the KLA to say, okay, Rugova, it's a betrayer, all these kind of things. For instance, Alusha Gushi, if he will go in somebody's home and find Ibrahim Rugova's picture, he will break it down and rape it and say this guy, whatever. Meaning, like, to me, was that they're trying to get in power. So they used the KLA for their own power, for their own purposes. They tried to. The KLA was, people's army. It was Kosovo's army that a lot of people joined to fight. They wanted to have an army that does right things. And a lot of people who actually created KLA, they're not between us anymore. And then other people, to me, if I say it with one word, it's like hijacking the plane. That's how they did it. They hijacked the KLA and then they used it for their own purposes.
Let me break in here because, in the interest of time, if I may, I mean, the bottom line is with all of these people, and we're talking about Alusha Gashi, Toger, Jefet Kelmedi, all of these people are in the Dukazine operative zone and under the command of Ramush Haradnai, right?
Yes.
And consistent with acting in personal revenge, you were asking, you had noted for us what you thought people were doing for personal revenge. And when you're talking about the sisters that you came from Terpeza, you likewise told the ICTY that in discussions with one of those sisters, she told me that our problem started because a brother of her uncle's wife asked for her hand before the war and she had refused. When the war started, this man became a KLA soldier and he started harassing her and her sisters. Do you recall saying that? And that's at the ICE.
Yes, that's what she said to me.
Okay, so again,
Actually, this is when I asked her why you think they will question you and why you think if you have not, why she said the only thing could be it's this, that because he said to her, I'm going to make your life miserable.
so again, Mr. Kabashi, we have
Yeah.
another crime that, consistent with your comment, that was committed not in the KLA's name, but committed for someone's personal needs and got covered up with the KLA name.
If we're talking from the beginning, actually, this is a perfect example what I said before.
So we agree that this is
Yes.
somebody
In this case, yes.
committing a personal crime and using the KLA as a cover.
Yes.
Let me ask you a question, and I was a little confused about what you said at the outset when you were giving your statement about the difficulties you had with the court and the prosecutors, and I'm not sure exactly, and you noted, and this is at page 19, line 5 of today, and you said, just because I didn't cooperate with them, meaning the way they wanted to, they tried to hurt me here by sending a letter to immigration saying that he is cooperating for terrorism and trying to bomb the offices in Brussels. What are you talking about that, sir?
No, Brussels and Pristina and Kosovo.
Oh, you noted Brussels. So you're saying Pristina. That should have been Pristina as opposed to Brussels.
Yeah, it was Pristina.
Okay. So, I mean, who are you talking about there, sir? Who is sending a letter to immigration that you're cooperating with terrorism and trying to bomb the offices in Pristina?
Who sent exactly the letter? I don't know. But when I got, and this is the thing that, and if anybody is interested to find out, they can find out through the immigration and U.S. When I came here in 2005.
Let me clarify something for you right there.
Sure, sure.
The immigration files in the United States are closed files. So go from there.
Yes, they're closed files, but if it's something has to do with the court, they will help you out, and you can find that, right?
So tell me what you're talking about here. That's
What I'm talking about here in 2005, I got an asylum approved, and in 2007,
Maybe we
after.
could, sorry to interrupt, but maybe we could do any discussion concerning the witness's immigration status and pending legal proceedings in private session.
Agreed. Agreed. Into private session, please.
Can I continue now?
In a second. We'll let you know.
Your Honor, we're in public session.
Mr. Emerson, are you going to ask any questions?
Your Honour, I have no questions on behalf of Mr. Vasili.
Thank you very much. All right, Mr. Roberts, when you're ready.
Thank you, Your Honour. Good morning, Mr. Kobashi. I hope you can hear me.
Morning.
I'm sorry, I didn't get translation of your response.
I said good morning.
Now, obviously, as the presiding judge has already indicated, we're both speaking English, so please take your time in responding to my questions. And similarly, as Mr. Kehoe had said, if anything is not clear, please don't hesitate to ask me to rephrase or to repeat my question.
Okay.
My name is Jeff Roberts. I'm counsel for Mr. Salimi, and I should have questions which we may finish this evening, otherwise we'll finish tomorrow morning. So if I can start off just by going over some of your experience as a KLA soldier. Now, it's correct that you attempted to join the KLA in the middle of April 1998, is that correct?
I believe in him. Yeah. Beginning. Middle sometime.
And you were based there until the end of May, and that's when you joined Alush Agushi's unit in June of 1998, is that correct?
That could be.
Sorry, witness, do you mind just pausing for 3 or 4 seconds after the end of my questions? I know you understand them, but just to make the transcript easier, that would be better.
Yeah.
Now, where were you based when you were part of Alush Agushi's unit?
What do you mean by that?
Where
Like,
was
I'm
your
trying
unit
to-
based? Where did you sleep?
In the beginning, when I joined the KLA, or when I joined Alush Agushi's unit?
The question was, where were you based when you were part of Alush Agushi's unit? So that was from June 1998 onwards, I believe.
In Yablanica, but I do not recall I joined his unit in June. Like it could be.
Do you think it's earlier than that, or do you think it's later than that?
No, it can be later than not earlier. But I think it was June, and then it could be June. Yeah.
And when you say you were based in Yablanica, was that all the time, or did you move into different locations?
No, in different locations, because we've been also in a fight with his unit.
Sorry, in a fight with whose unit?
Alush Agushi's unit. We've been in one in Rosa Helveti, the Brax Helveti.
And when was that?
By the date, I cannot recall right now. That was when the Serbs took offensive in Lapushniki area, and also from Helveti coming towards Malisheva after that area was controlled by us. Could be July end, or it could be not sure.
Okay, but your unit was primarily operating in the Dukajin zone, that's correct, isn't it?
Yes.
And did you conduct operations outside that zone, apart from the ones you've mentioned?
Yeah, one time when we went to Berisha Mountains, that was when we operated, like his unit. I explained that today earlier, I believe.
And I think you told my colleague, Mr. Kehoe, that Alush Agushi reported to Mr. Haradinaj.
I don't recall I said he reported to Haradinaj.
What was the relationship between the two?
I do not know much. It was okay.
And what was the role of Mahler's unit at the time?
What do you mean the role?
What was the function of Mahler's unit, of Alusha unit?
I don't get it. What was the role? Like,
Was it
you mean
a-
what? Uh-huh.
Was it a support unit, or was it a different type of unit? What was its function?
Yeah, it was when basically I can say, if I'm not mistaken, Alusha Gushi had his own people and from his own village and his own area that sometimes they used to come also and fight. And because I remember in the beginning I saw one of his guys in a fight over Yablanica. This is early when I joined. But then they used to come and go and get weapons. And then at one point I remember we sent weapons, actually I did, to his village. And then in a time when his village was surrounded by Serb police forces, I was in Albania at that time. Now, I went so many times to Albania, I don't remember, was it June or July when happened this. So when they came back, because they burned the whole village, when they came back to Yablanica, there was tension there. Then when I really joined his unit. And our basically, our job was to send us like help in some, where it's like somewhere where they're under attack, like more like to help the other units, kind of. That's what we all did.
So you were assistants, you were providing assistance, but was it done in quite an informal way? How did you find out that other units needed assistance?
But for instance, I can use one example when we were to Malisheva coming back from Rahoveci rocks, or how to call it, and we went together in the one tractor trailer. So we were supposed to go to help because after Lapushniki was attacked, they were saying that Kleska will be attacked too. Where was another, base of KLA? So we were sent there to try to help them when they attacked. We stayed there for like 2 weeks maybe, and we didn't have any fight. We just did the routine checkpoints and where we had our how you call it, our stations, like where we watch for enemy coming. I don't know how to explain in English right now, but we didn't have any fight that time. I cannot hear anything.
Apologies, I turned my microphone off. I think you confirmed to my colleague, Mr. Kehoe, there was no brigades or any other structure of that type at this stage. We're talking June, July of 1998.
Brigades are in process that time. I don't remember exactly what time it was. Meaning, if you look at, probably they have in records where when the brigade was created in Yablanica, I was there one time. I was coming actually from Albania and then happened to be there, so we joined the brigade. It's called Murzeneli, and I forgot the number.
In your IC2 eyewitness statement in 2007, and we can put this actually up on the screen, so that's U0162361 to U0162399. This is just your comment about the general staff, and I will just read it now, just to save time, but we can put it up if you want to. You stated, as far as I understood it, the general staff was not well organized when I was in Yablanica. And I'd just like you to confirm that understanding. That's correct, isn't it, as far as you were concerned, when you were in
Yes.
Yablanica? And how
Yes.
late did that continue in your mind? When you said you are in Jablanica, are you talking up until August, September, October, or later of 1998?
Well, we talking in the beginning, and then later they, like I said, or like they start to organize little by little, and but when the Serbs attack or like they have the offensives, like the August one, they used to call it August offensive, and also September, you will be splitting and you will be all over. So to regroup was not that easy, and that's what I meant by.
And just for the record, that's paragraph 70 of that statement. And just to understand your evidence, you're saying, so that's from your understanding of how things were in the field. Is that fair? That there was a lack of organisation above? I'm just trying to interpret your evidence or understand your evidence.
What do you mean lack of organization?
Well, you told the ICTY that the General Staff was not well organised when you were in Jablanica. I was just trying to understand why you made that statement from your experience, having discussed your earlier activities as part of Mr. Ragushi's unit.
I do not recall that. I don't know what you attending or what is the question about.
Well, I'll just try and phrase it a different way. In your ICTY statement in 2007, you discussed the General Staff. Now, just to be clear, is that the General Staff of the KLA, or is that another General Staff that you're referring to?
But General Staff of KLA, I remember one time when they came from General Staff from Granica. Then was Recep Selimi there.
But just to be clear, in your statement, are you referring to the General Staff at that stage? That's what you mean, the KLA General Staff. And when you say they're not very organised, that's what I was trying to understand the basis of that comment.
But very well organized. You can be in here in an area and very well organized and General Staff. So I was talking about the area where we worked, it's two different things.
So are you saying that in the area where you worked, the General Staff was not very organised?
Yes, basically. We were trying to, but like I said before, and you can see I signed it, but how they mix stuff and put it together was never like right, and you could not do anything about it.
Thank you. Now, just moving on to another topic, and this is about the status of people who may or may not have been detained in Jablanica in May and June 1998. And you obviously gave evidence to the Limay trial chamber about that issue. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And I think you told my colleague earlier today that there were no prisons in Jablanica because there was no prison in Jablanica because the doors were open and that no one was detained. Is that correct?
Yeah, I said that. There was no prison.
So when people were kept there, they were able to move around within the location that they were kept?
Yes.
And where was this?
What do you mean by that?
Where were they kept? You said they were able to move and there were doors open. Where are you talking about?
The place where we stayed. The same place where we stayed.
And what place is that? Can you tell us what exactly you're talking about? Which place did you stay in?
Was it like a house? Basically, and almost in a end of the village going towards Barbanici, and was a house. I don't know how to explain that.
Okay, and this was obviously, as you said, where some soldiers were based, and that included yourself when you referred to
Yes.
being based in
That
Jablanica.
was more like a base for the soldiers. Yes.
And were there civilians around there as well?
Not much in there. No.
But was it fair to say that at the time civilians could enter, anyone could enter or leave?
Not really. From the village, maybe some of the villagers could come in, but no, they wouldn't come. Unless, like, somebody, of course, they will.
And at the time there was a shortage of uniforms, I believe. Is that right? In and amongst and around Jablanica.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. Was that a yes?
Yes, what you're trying to say.
Thank you.
Shortage. Yeah, it was shortage.
And so not everyone, even if you're a KLA soldier, you wouldn't necessarily be in uniform.
In there, most likely, the soldiers had some uniforms.
But not all of them.
The soldiers who were in the base, the soldier, because how to explain, like, people who, let's say, came from other areas to join the KLA in Jablanic, and they recruited like a soldier. We will go to the base, and then you will have uniform, and at least you will have something that looks like uniform, and you will have the KLA sign and emblem here, and weapon. You will see that it's a soldier. I don't know what you're referring or what you're trying to. If you can please be more specific.
Certainly.
What are you trying to ask me?
The insignia itself, that didn't come in till later. That's correct, isn't it?
I'm sorry?
The insignia on uniforms, the KLA insignia, that didn't come in, until later. Is that correct?
We had insignia at that time. We had emblems at that time.
Right from the beginning, from April?
Yes, we had. When I go there, yes, we had.
But not all soldiers had that insignia, I presume?
No, all soldiers. Yeah, you can say that.
And I think you also said that when people arrived, they would go to the base and they wouldn't always be given a uniform straight away. Is that right, or have I misunderstood?
If they have uniforms, they will give it. If they don't, they won't.
So they could be a serving member of the KLA, but not actually be given a uniform as yet?
It could. It was possible.
And how many people were there at at this location, the barracks, I think you called it, in Jablanica?
Like soldiers coming from other areas, like I said before, 15, 20, 10, 30, depends.
So
nighttime we sleep less, and daytime was more because they come from around, and there was no much place to sleep in there. So,
and I think you've mentioned in previous testimony that it was a place that people would pass through on the way to Albania to go and collect weapons, and you yourself went multiple times, I think, to Albania to go and collect weapons at the time.
Yes.
And I think the first time you went to Albania to get weapons, you said you're in a group of about 100 soldiers. Is that correct?
No, more than 100.
More than 100.
A lot more than 100, yes.
So there'd be lots of these individuals passing through Jablanica at these different times.
Yes, but in barracks over there we stayed only who was a soldier. And then let's say they train, they send them other places, or some they stay there, they come back.
And just to move on to the location of the KLA HQ in the area. Is this in the same place as the barracks, or is this somewhere else?
No, I cannot tell. It was the same place in barracks. The Ibrahim had his own house in the middle of the village where probably where he used to go to the headquarters or his friends from previous when they fight guerrillas together and stuff.
And how
Like, for
far?
instance,
Sorry, please continue. I interrupted you.
yeah,
And how far away was that from the barracks? Lahi Brahimai's house.
maybe a mile. I'm not quite sure.
A mile, so a kilometre and a half.
Kilometer and a half, maybe a little less. It's kind of like his house is more like inside of the village, and the other one where we stay was like kind of far away from.
Right. So if someone was visiting Mr. Brahimai's house, they wouldn't know what was happening within the barracks.
Of course, they wouldn't know. They could know or they could not.
But they're separate locations. They wouldn't be able to see
Of course,
directly.
there's separate locations.
Excuse me, we just lost our feed again.
Oh. Hopefully that wasn't my fault once.
I believe it's coming back on.
Apologies, Your Honour, if I just bear with me while my computer restarts, just so I can follow the transcript as well. Apologies, witness. My computer's just restarting. I may have to continue sooner rather than later because it seems to be taking a while to restart. But I would certainly prefer to have a transcript in front of me. I think it would assist.
We have the same issue.
It's on.
We have to, even once it comes back on, the court reporter has to make sure he's up to date on the transcript as well. And so we will take about a 5 to 10 minute break to allow that, and we'll come back to your cross-examination.
Thank you, Your Honour.
All rise.
Still not working.
All rise.
Be seated. Madam Court Officer, you can bring in the witness. We're sorry for all the inconvenience and delays, witness, but you are quite a few thousand miles away from us.
Yes.
All right, Mr. Roberts, we'll give you the rest of the 15 minutes anyway
Thank you, Your Honour.
to finish right at 7:30.
Understood, Your Honour. Hopefully I will finish the vast majority. I just may have a little bit left over for tomorrow morning. Hello again, witness. I just wanted to move on now to the order from Mr. Oguchi to kill Fadil Gashi that you've testified about earlier today. Now, just to be clear, your evidence that this order was given by Mr. Oguchi when he came out of a car when he was traveling to Jablanica.
Yes.
And you were in a car as well?
Yes.
And where were you traveling to? Were you traveling in the same direction or you were traveling to Voluyak?
Opposite direction.
And he didn't know you were traveling along this road? You didn't have a prearranged meeting?
No.
So it was just by chance that he saw you and saw your car traveling in the opposite direction?
But like I said before, when you pass that water, you have to stop. Either one way or another, have to stop. So I stopped, and like when you see people you know, usually at that time you say hi or you talk. It's normal, and so we talked about it. He put me to the side and told me about it, and
Understood.
I don't know how many times do I have to explain that.
Yes, no, it was more the fact that you didn't have an arrangement to meet at that location.
we
It was
did
by
not.
chance that you saw each other on the side of the road, stopping
Yes.
as you described. And this was, I think you told the SPO in your preparation session that you weren't sure when you received this instruction from Mr. Oguchi. Is that correct?
I said where?
So you weren't sure when you received it, when this meeting took place?
For the specific order. For the specific thing.
Yes. This meeting with Mr. Oguchi, you weren't sure when that occurred?
I do remember was there. I don't think this, I wasn't sure ever. But
No, sorry, that's the location. I'm not disputing that you said where it was. The question is, you told the SPO, and maybe I'll just read it out from the preparation note, that might be easier. If I can find it. Sorry. Okay. The prosecution, when they conducted a preparation session with you, obviously took notes on information you gave them, and in paragraph 49 of that document stated that W448 is unsure about exactly when he received the order to kill Fadil Gashi. So does that accurately record what you told the prosecution, that you don't know when this order was given?
when I said that, when was that I said the prosecution that?
That was on the 9th of October 2023. This was during your preparation session with Mr. Quick, I believe, prosecution counsel.
It could be a mistake, or I could not remember that moment, but this is what happened.
I'm merely trying to work out when you say it occurred, the date, the month. You don't know which month it occurred in.
That's what we had the issue, that I didn't know exactly the date, but not the place. I never had the issue with the place.
No, I'm just trying to work out the date. And it
Yeah,
was
the
obviously,
date, I'm not sure.
it was before, in your evidence, before you were given the order to kill Rock Berisha as well, wasn't it?
For sure.
And you'd never, excuse me, you'd never received an order of this type before, had you?
Before when?
Before this meeting with Mr. Agushi, when you were given the order to kill Mr. Gashi.
Yeah, I didn't have any order before that.
So he randomly stops you on the side of the road and has a discussion with you and then tells you that you...
No, that's not randomly, because we knew each other.
But you didn't have an arrangement to meet him, did you? So it was random that
No,
you
but
met him
we
at that place and at that time?
Yeah, but I was in that time, I was basically, I had very close relationship when it comes to soldier and Yablanica with everybody, not just with Agushi, with Lahia, everybody. Meaning I was in good relationship, and it was not just randomly he picked me up and do this. I was the one who also got orders from him for other stuff, to bring weapons to places and other things.
Understood.
It was not just
But that's,
like
that's
that.
quite a different type of order, isn't it?
I
Obviously,
mean,
in order to pick up
I
weapons.
explained that before too, sir. I explained that before too, so I don't understand your meaning of the question. If you can be more specific, it will be perfectly fine for everybody.
Certainly. Well, you've already told
Yeah.
us you don't know if it was the same day or the next day that you... Actually, I'll rephrase the question. You went on to Volyak then with your cousins, I believe.
Yes,
And you've already told us you don't know if it was the same day or the next day that you ended up at Yablanica.
yeah, I cannot say 100%.
And that's when you saw, I believe, Mr. Salimi and Mr. Agushi in the Yablanica barracks with lots of other people there, I believe. Is that right?
Yes,
And I think you mentioned that Mr. Salimi asked you about your uniform.
yes.
And was he just curious about your uniform as to why you were wearing it? How did that conversation come about?
Because when I went to the barracks, when I went through the, gates, small gates, when I went there and I talked to my friends, colleagues, wherever, soldiers and stuff, and I said hi to them, wherever who's there. It's a tradition in Albanian to say hi to when you see people. And he mentioned first, that uniform. He said, where you get it from. I explained. I cannot explain word for word what happened. It's like,
Of course.
what you guys are trying here. It's funny, but I told him that I got from Leopardi, and he said those uniforms belong to the, Black Tigers, that unit that was formed in Danica, and he said I will, he was collecting, I think. That's what I think. He gets some because somewhere in another in Sverkatsu or whatever. So he said, I basically, he remembered. Probably Leopardi told him that he gave it to me. He remembered, and he said, "Yeah, I understand." So,
And that
it
was
not much about it. Like,
yeah, that was the end of the conversation, wasn't it? Once you
Yeah.
told him that Mr. Agushi had given you the uniform,
no, Leopardi, no, Mr. Agushi,
sorry,
no.
Leopardi, then he
Yeah.
understood that, and that was the end of the conversation.
Kind of, yes.
And he didn't know you, did he, before this conversation,
To
to your knowledge?
my knowledge, if there was this before we went to Albania with the weapons that I mentioned before, it could be he knew me because, like I said, we had a trip almost from Malisheva to Yablanica in the same car. I don't know if this was before or after, so he might knew me from that time or not. So it makes no difference to me. Either way, it's not.
Okay, and just in relation to this allegation, and I know my colleague Mr. Kehoe mentioned this earlier about when you first mentioned this order to kill Mr. Gashi. If I can just take you to preparation note 2, and I'll put it on the screen for you so you can see exactly what was said. And so that's 116144 at 116152. So this is in English, it will be on the screen. If you could just let me know when you see that appear, it will probably take a few seconds.
Okay, what is about it?
If you just wait, there's a document going up. So this is a record of information that you provided to the prosecution during your preparation session, which was on the 9th of October. So that's about 6 weeks ago now.
Okay.
And if we go to paragraph 54, which is at page 116152. And you very clearly say that, don't you, that you were asked why you had not previously reported the Fadil Gashi order. W448 explained that he had informed the ICTY in 2004 when he gave his first statement. Do you see that written there?
Yes, we just put it in a screen right now.
Please take your time.
Okay, what is about it?
Do you recall telling the prosecution that during your preparation session?
When?
On the 9th of October 2023, so 5-6 weeks ago, when you had the preparation session for your testimony here.
I think we talked about it.
And you told the prosecution that you had not previously reported it, or were asked why you hadn't previously reported it, and said very clearly that you had told the ICTY in 2004.
Yeah, I said I told the investigators from ICTY in 2004.
And these were the investigators that took your signed statements in 2004?
They did.
And you took 2 statements in 2004 and another one in 2007, I believe. The
Yes.
first 2 were for the Limai trial, and the third was for the Haradinaj trial.
Okay.
And you obviously, in one of those statements, correct me if I'm wrong, did mention the Rock Berisha incident order, didn't you? So you told the ICTY investigators about the Rock Berisha incident, and that was included in your statement.
It was included in my statement?
That's my understanding. Did you?
Okay.
But there's no mention whatsoever in any of those statements about the Fadil Gashi order, is there?
Okay, what's the question?
Well, the question is, does that surprise you if you told ICTY investigators of this incident, and it's, by your own admission, obviously quite a serious one, why did you not notice that it was not included in your statement when you signed it?
Because those investigators from previous, like I said, it doesn't surprise me anything anymore. So.
But you didn't mention it in 2011 in your testimony either? You didn't actually mention it until 2019. That's correct, isn't it? That your television interview in 2019 was the first time that you mentioned it publicly? Or that there's any record of you having mentioned it?
No, like I said, I mentioned to investigators in 2004.
But there's no record at all in the intervening 20 years between 1998 and...
Objection asked and answered by 2 different defense teams, actually.
Well, he can just very clearly clarify that there's no written record of him having mentioned this at any stage.
Excuse me, let me rule on it. Overruled. You may continue the question.
Apologies, Your Honour. There is no written record of that at all over the last 20 years, is there?
Okay, so where is the what was the point of you, like, what you're trying to make a point, so I can help you?
I'm just asking a question. There is no written record of
Okay, you
this
said
alleged
that will
order
surprise
over
you,
the
this,
course of those
that,
20 years, is there,
makes
witness?
no sense. I would like to have a question, ask me a question.
I've asked you the same question 3 times now, witness. There is no written record, is there, over those 20
Objection.
years?
It's also not a question that the witness can answer.
Overruled.
Exactly, it's not a question. What you're asking is not a question. Why is not in this, why is not in that? Ask me a question, what do you want to know?
I've asked you a
Basically.
question 3 times, witness, and the
What's the
presiding
question?
judge has authorised the question. So I'll say it
What's
one
the
last
question?
time, and then I think we'll end for the day.
What's the question?
There is no written record, is there, to your knowledge, of the Fadil Gashi order in those 20 years between 1998
But
and 2019 when you mentioned it in a television interview? That's my
okay,
question.
so if it's not written record, what that's supposed to mean? It's not or it is, makes no difference. So if it's not,
So
it's
that's
not.
a yes,
So
you
what-
agree with me that there is no written record?
If it's not, I agree with you, it's not. So
Thank you, Your Honour. I think it's a good
What's the
time now
point?
to end for the day.
Thank you, witness. That'll end our testimony for today, your testimony for today. We will start again tomorrow well, we are going to determine that in just a minute. If you would just go with the court usher out to the waiting room, and we will then inform you in a few minutes about the starting time tomorrow.
Okay.
Madam Usher, you may escort the witness out. And we are in public session. We're thinking about tomorrow and trying to use as much of the time as we have. We could have Mr. Khalid Yaha come at 3 and testify until 5, and then have Mr. Kabashi come at 5:30 after a 30-minute break and testify till 7:30, or we could start at 2 o'clock with Mr. Khalid Yaha, take the 30-minute break and go from 4:30 to 6:30 with Mr. Kabashi. Does anyone have a preference in those two, or do you think it's just a bad idea in general?
I think it's a bad idea in general. I mean, the problem is you get into these witnesses, there's so much information, and then we have to shift gears and go to the next witness. So if we could just stay with the schedule as is, that would be the best from the Thaçi standpoint. Of finish with this witness tomorrow and then just start Khalid Yaha on Thursday morning.
Going to waste quite a few hours, it looks like.
Yeah, Your Honor, the difficulty is moving from witness to witness is not an
understand.
easy thing to do.
I understand it's not a perfect situation. We're just trying to use the time that we have. Anyway, I understand your position. Mr. Emerson?
If asked to choose between a 2 and 3 start, and for Mr. Khalid Yaha, I would prefer to stick with a 3 o'clock start, if that's acceptable to Your Honours.
How do you feel about the concept of trying to do both tomorrow? Or
Well, obviously, I've so far indicated no questions for this witness, so unless something comes up at a later stage, it doesn't present a conflict for me. I'm ready to continue with my cross-examination.
Mr. Roberts? Mr. Ellis?
Your Honour, to the extent it's helpful, my time estimate is half an hour for this witness, although I think it's fair to say from the answers so far that it's a little unpredictable how long things may take with this particular individual. I would also flag up that there may well, I imagine, be questions from the bench, and it may well be that there are further questions following that. So my concern would be if I understood that this witness has to be finished by 7:30 tomorrow, so there's no possibility of bringing him back on Thursday if we were to overrun. If you see what I mean. So my concern would be if we start this gentleman at 5:30 and go to 7:30. 7:30 is, I understand, a hard stop. So if we go beyond that, we've got an
I would merely second what Mr. Ellis said. I also have conducted, and I'm sure other counsel have as well, our cross-examination based on the questions asked from the prosecution. Obviously, if they're judges' questions, that may well alter, and I may well have additional time. At the moment, I think I will be very little time, but maybe up to 15 minutes in the morning. But that will be something that requires a bit of reflection overnight.
I understand that. I'm not trying to tie you down, but we were just thinking about some way to use the time we are given.
Might there be a possibility of just finishing with this witness at 3 o'clock, and then if there's time to be used up after that, we could ask Mr. Haliyaha back, but I don't know if that's entirely...
That was my next question, so I think, is that a better opportunity for you to finish with this witness first and then do Mr. Haliyaha? Will that cause a problem?
Well, that certainly would avoid the risk of running into a hard stop and
Yeah,
not having...
and I don't know how much more time you have with him.
Well, I think I indicated, Your Honour, yesterday. Yesterday. I've assumed another 2.5 hours. I may be able to cut that down, but it
All right,
won't
that's
be a
helpful.
lot less.
Let's do it that way. Everybody all right with that? We will continue with this witness then at 3 o'clock tomorrow, and followed by Mr. Haliyaha as much as we can do in the allotted time. So thank you for your comments and cooperation. We stand adjourned until 3 o'clock tomorrow.
All rise.